Welcome back to Do-It-Myself Garage. I've got a Samsung electric dryer. It's a steam version. It's stuck on cooling. I thought at first it was the moisture sensor, but it won't even work on time dry, so that's a good way to rule that out right away. If it'll work on time dry, then it's not the moisture sensor. But then when I cleaned this out, there was a whole bunch of stuff in the bottom. And then let me show you what I found outside. So all of that lint came out of here. So they've got this cover in here, which I don't know why, because it has a flapper. And that cover tends to collect the lint and block everything. So I'm going to run it without that cover for a while. But I believe what happened is, from the explanation, there's a thermal fuse. And if the vent gets plugged, it'll get too hot. It'll kick out the fuse to protect the dryer so you don't get a fire. So I've got this all cleaned out now. Now I just need to go ahead and get that thermal fuse either replaced, or apparently there is a way to reset it. So let me show you how you have to get to that. I'm hoping it's located on the front of the unit and not in the back. Okay, so apparently there is a thermal fuse. It can either be located here or on the back for some reason. I'm hoping with being electric it's up here, but in order to do that you have to tear the entire front off the dryer. So yeah, thanks guys. And unfortunately this is a stacked set, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to, I can't get to the back of the machine if I need to. I'll have to have 2-3 guys to help me pull it out of here if I need to. Again, I'm hoping I can reach it from the front. Let's get started. Alright, in order to get that front panel off, you have to remove 2 screws in the back. Let me show you that. Fortunately, they were good enough to leave me an access panel in the closet here. And there's 2 screws near the top there. One there and one way on the other side. The one on the other side I actually reached from the top. Yeah, I'm not putting that one back. But this one here I was able to reach from the access panel. Just slide that back. You can take it out of there completely to give you access to the electrical panel inside. And then we can start to get the front cover off. As you can see now, the cover's off. There's the main electrical board right there in that, that metal canister. Light up in here. I've got it on my head and that's not working very good. So anyway, right there's the main electrical deal. So that I believe controls this entire front panel. But that all seems to be working. I got to get to the thermostat things here. So got some screws along the top I got to remove. There's one right here, and I'm sure a few more along the edge here. Let me get those removed. You can probably see them on the camera better than I can. There's one there, there. So I get those removed, and then we'll be able to lift this front panel off, and then we should be able to lift the front panel off. So we can get the control panel off first, then the front panel, and hopefully we can get to that that sensor that we need to get to. Alright, so there were just 3 of them that went into the plastic piece here. This should come up and off, and then there's some electrical stuff to take off. So you want to be careful with the tabs. You want to break them off, just kind of wiggle it. There we go. And then now there's some electrical connections. Take off. Right here. Oh, just one on this one. Push the little tab in. And of course this whole thing is unplugged right. Whoop, whoop, don't fall. Definitely a two-handed coordinator job. There we go. Okay. The little one pulls out of the big one here. So the part that closest to the dryer pulls out. Okay. I'm just going to set him on top. Now, I can take the bolts out of the front, get this front off of here. So yeah, depending on how yours is installed in your house, this might be a bit of a hassle. I mean, I know mine's all tucked in nicely into this closet here, but that's great for convenience, but not so much when you need to work on it. Alright, there should be some more electrical connections on this one also for the door switch and some other stuff. So this thing Should come out now. Yeah, you kind of have to lift it over this tab. So I'm going to grab my screwdriver. So I just tucked it in behind there. There we go. Pull. Now, my understanding is there's nothing else holding this except a couple metal tabs down at the bottom down here. I'll back you up a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So there should be just a couple tabs at the bottom here now. Okay. Open this up so I can lift on this better. Oh, you know, maybe I'll take these two screws out here. I think these, yeah, those do hold the front panel. Oh dear, that's what was holding the whole thing. There's so many different versions on this dryer that I was looking up. It's hard to know which one you've got, and you know. So it should just come out and then lift up. Kind of the same thing as a front panel, and just don't want to break the tabs. Oh man. And obviously I can't see what I'm doing. Maybe I can see him behind here. Oh yeah. Ooh, I'm making money today. Yeah, it's just, it sounds horrible, but I'm not hurting on it. There. Okay, there is an electrical connection at the top here that I almost missed. I knew there was one, and that's the door switch. Oh, come on. There, got it. Okay. Ta-da! Door's off. There's a whole bunch of gunk in the bottom of that front panel. Oh dear, yeah, look at this. We got all kinds of stuff stuck in here. Oh, this is all full. Look at this. Look at this. We got a dog. And the dog hair is in all the clothes. And yeah, I'm sure that's why she's getting that overheat sensor, because she's all full of junk. So let's get this cleaned out. I'm going to go get the vacuum and spare you the yuckiness. Oh boy. Damn, this was a fire hazard. I mean, look at all that. And it was all in there by the heating coils. Woo. They should make these more accessible to clean out, because this is 12 years old. Well, I mean, that's a fire hazard. They got to make it easier to clean these out, to do regular maintenance, because this is kind of ridiculous. Because if this was more accessible, would definitely clean this on a regular basis, like you clean your lint filter, you know. Average person is not going to go in here and work on this. No way. I'm a pretty average person. I'm going to be pretty lazy. I'm not going to tear my equipment apart to see if stuff's getting into places that should have been designed not to go in the first place. Give me a break. Ooh, there's a whole quarter over here. I think I'm going to take this cover off first to get to the blower motor. Let's do that. Tilt you down here, get you a little closer. So the blower motor's on the left-hand side here. One, two, same length. Three, same length. Not sure if that holds it or not, but we'll take them out just to be sure. No, I didn't need to take him off. Oh, dummy me, I could have taken the lint filter out. Give myself some room. And look at that. So obviously it's with that vent being blocked on the outside caused this stuff to back up, but still. Just keep finding more chunks. Oh no, there's the thermocouple right there. They're for the temperature and for the overheat. They're right here, I can get to them. Ha-ha! Okay, good. And they're all clogged full of dust. So that's probably why they're not working, why they're giving me bad readings. So I want to keep cleaning. The main heating element looks okay. Nothing wrong there other than all the junk on it. So, alright, let me do some more cleaning and then I'll be back. Alright, trying to get you a good view here. So you come in along the front. So the connection for the coil is right there. So if you want to replace your coil, unplug it, plug the new one in. Right behind that, I believe, is the fuse, and the one back there, the farthest one back, is the thermostat that tells it when to turn on and off. So I'm going to pull both the thermostat and the thermal fuse out so I can get serial numbers off of them, or part numbers, and order some replacements. I might even replace the coil because apparently they're fairly inexpensive also. So let's see how much I take apart. If there's anything, it just looks like a couple screws on each. Doesn't look like anything complicated. If there's anything crazy or different, I'll let you know. Alright, one of the other things I bought, I went ahead and bought a whole new coil. The heating coil right here, since it's electric, and it all came as a kit. Probably actually ended up being about the same as buying all the parts individually. So I was fighting this thing the whole time. If you take this screw out right here on the front, this whole thing comes loose. You can just take it all out as long as you got everything unplugged. This should, I mean, it's loose. I don't know if it's gonna, I got enough room to get it out of here. Alright, I have to take this base out in order to get this out of here, but that's going to be a lot easier to work on when I'm not inside and I can clean this all up. Let me see what I got to do to get this out of here, and I'll be back. Okay, so there were 2 screws at the base of this, and then it literally just tips back, comes out of the little tabs. Now you can pull the whole thing out. Alright, now we can work out in the garage. Take this apart. Put the new coil in here. Clean this all up. We can start putting her back together. So if I had known this, I would have just taken this apart first. So I'll probably put this video first and then show the other stuff. I don't know. But anyway, this is where the 2 sensors were. And there's another screw back here. There's some little tabs here. Probably going to want to bend those up. Should be able to bend this over. There we go. There we go. It's the old coil. Take him out. I'm going to clean this all up and then we'll throw the new coil in here, and then we'll just have to start reassembling. It should be pretty straightforward. I honestly should have watched some more videos, but it looked pretty easy, and then I changed my mind. I did decide to replace the coil. So yeah, getting that whole thing out, it's pretty easy. I'm just going to take this down in the sink and clean this up. Top half I can just wipe that down, but this bottom part, I'm going to go ahead and clean this up with some steel wool in the sink, SOS pad, and then I'll be back. Alright, so this only goes back on here one way. I've got the bottom all cleaned. Goes back on like that. These pieces are over here. Kind of imagine this last coil. You want to make sure when you go to plug it in, that's not touching this. You don't want it to ground out, so you'll have to kind of band it up and make sure that it's not touching the other piece of metal. But in the meantime, this goes on like this into these little tabs over here. These should be kind of up, and then fold them down when you get it together. So you'll have to sit here and play with it to get all the screws and holes to line up. Start with one. Remember the rule, don't tighten everything till you get everything lined up. So make sure you can get everything started before you go and tighten anything, because otherwise you'll be kind of hating life. Grab my other pliers here. So I just squeeze those tabs to hold that. I don't have all the screws because I pulled some of them out when I was in the dryer, not knowing I could pull this whole thing out. But the screws did go in from what would be considered the top. Like I say, just pay attention to how you took it apart. You should be able to get it back together. If you need to, take photos. I mean, I'm doing video, but if you need to, take photos, because it helps. I've mentioned many times, I had to go back and watch videos in the GTO, how to do the accessories, because they're not standard. My car was kind of a mix and match of a couple other cars as far as the accessories were. So there we go. Together. Together. These other ones will line up now. I'm not too worried about those. Okay, so these are the two sensors that came out. This one came out of here. So we got to find the one that matches that with our new parts. And look at that. Close enough. Close enough. And actually, I'll have to go get the screws for that one. And then the other one that matches is this big guy here. And he should be right here. New one, old one. Look the same, but different. So let me go get the screws for those. Those are still laying in the in the laundry room. I'll go grab those screws, screw that together, because I might as well put this all together before I put it back in to make my life easier. All right. Okay. All right, then we got this guy here. You know he goes here. That is ceramic. And it should not matter which one goes where. It's just a resistance coil. That's how it makes heat. You run a lot of electricity through it, and it makes heat. So you just push it through, and then remember, it had that little locking tab. So we're going to bend those up right here. So yeah, that's why trying to take it out inside the machine was like impossible, because that's the whole point. These are supposed to bend these little tabs up. And it can't pull back out. Push that one in there. Push that one through there. Same thing. Bend that little tab up. And it's a tiny little tab that's right next to the connection there, or right next to the ceramic. So now my electrical can plug into that. Inside of here, I'll tilt you up a little bit. Inside of here, make sure that this wire isn't touching. Same thing here, make sure this, when you bent these wires aren't touching anything. And then the other stuff just plugs into this. Okay, this little guy plugs in back here. One. Two. So that one kind of sits up. It's supposed to sense the heat, I believe. This one actually kind of goes inside a little bit. Oops, went a little too tight on that. What did I just get done telling you? Don't tighten stuff till you get it all lined up. I got lucky. Bless me. Anyway, hopefully I was showing that. Anyway, screwed in. This is all screwed together. Just gonna go set it back in the machine. Plug in here, plug in here, plug in here. The polarity really shouldn't matter on these. Everything's just it's just a series circuit, and it turns stuff on and off when it senses the heat. I believe this one is the one that's the fuse, and this is the thermostat. So if it gets way too hot, it'll kick this out, and typically they won't reset. One of the two. Doesn't really matter. So you don't need to know exactly how it works, other than I do know inside of here, make darn good and sure that these wires don't touch anything. They're already isolated, so make sure they don't touch, because I had to bend mine just a little bit so they would fit. Alright, see if we can get her back in there. There were a couple other sensors that came with it. One's a fuse on the back of the motor, but that one, the motor was working fine as far as I know. let me wipe out the back there. I got a bunch of fuzz way in the back. Alright, let's put this back in here if we can. Got to line it up with that piece in the back. I thought I had all the fuzz off of that. Apparently not. Okay. Oh, there we, it just slid right in. Put this little base back under here. Oh, shoot. Put the base first. Right. Watch me make all the mistakes so you don't have to. So, tilt that down in the tabs right there. And there we go. Put these two screws right in the front. And there's a little tab on the front here too, so you know where you're lined up. There we go. This little stubby guy is not as magnetized as the other big one. So there we go. If this doesn't fix it, it's one of the other two sensors. I will obviously try to fire it up before I put it all back together. There's no safety interlocks or anything like that, so I should be able to fire it up with just plugging in the main panel on top. I hope. Really don't want to have to reassemble the whole thing just to find out if it works or not. Okay, so now come on. Remember, we kind of bent this piece. There we go. So all that struggling and reaching back in there we didn't have to do. But I just taken this screw out and these two, that whole thing pulls out of there. Anyway, there we go. And oh, I do have to plug everything in. And it should be pretty straightforward. The black and the blue go in the back. And take pictures as you're going. I'll bring it down here. So plug it all back in. I really don't think you can plug it in while you have it out because you've got to manipulate a lot of stuff. Alright, it is all plugged back in. Hopefully I did it right. Again, I don't believe there's any polarity to this. It's just wired in series, so we should be good. Now I gotta see how much of this I have to put back together to get it to actually fire up so I can make sure everything's working. Alright, I got the door on, I got it plugged in. I've got to plug in the panel on top. I didn't even put the vent stuff back on the bottom. The main thing is I want to see if it's gonna heat at all. But you have to have the door on or it won't start. And I'm just going to plug the panel in, lay it across the top, turn the power on, and I should be able to start it. It's just electric, so as long as it senses that everything is, should be where it is, it should fire up. And then hopefully we have some heat. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go turn. Well, it powered on. It is on. Can't see the panel because I got tilted. So it's on normal. Temperature high, normal dry. I'm gonna hit start. I might have to hit stop right away if there's anything interfering here. But I don't think so. There we go. We'll wait a couple of minutes and we'll see if she gets warm. Alright, she's only been running for a couple of minutes. See if she's hot. Oh yeah. Looks like my vent on the back could be cleaned out a little bit. I'll have to vacuum that real good, but we got heat. So I'm gonna go downstairs. I'm gonna turn off the power so I can take it apart, finish making sure everything's put together properly, and then we're good to go. Alright, she's all back together. Power is on. Told I've got some towels I can dry. And okay. And it's on high temp, normal. Let's try it out. Now, it is entirely possible that this thing can kick out and quit heating again. If the reason that thermostat thing kicked out was for some other reason. Now, that's why I opted to put in a new coil and put both sensors in at the same time. The sensor and the, I guess the thermistor or breaker fuse. They call it a fuse. So it's already replaced both of those at the same time. There was two other sensors. One of them I found on the back of the vent. That's like a fuse as well, but I think that's for the motor, and that wasn't broken, or that wasn't tripped, so I left that. But they did have that in the kit, and there was one other sensor that I don't know what it's for. I'm just like you. I'm just trying to figure stuff out. But it's heating, so we'll see how this goes. I'll use it for a couple days before I post this video. I'll give you an update in case something goes wrong. But thanks again for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and hopefully this helped you out. Ask questions if I missed anything. I mean, I didn't show putting it back together because it's basically just the opposite of taking it apart. So anyway, take care, everybody. Bye.